song, can you see? Their song, can you see? Their song, can you see? Their song, can you see? There's so much pain. There's song, can you see? There's song, can you see? There's so much pain.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's deep dive session. The second one that we actually call a Pirates behind the scenes version. And if you joined us last time already, you already know what that means. If you didn't, in general, we always want to share and discuss our new gained insights and experiences to help each other to get the most out of remote events. And since we are currently all on it to set up our own next big remote event, Pirate Life, we thought this is worth sharing in detail. And so last time we focused on sales, we focused on marketing, and this time, today, it's all about the actual execution and the last mile, let's call it the last mile. And yeah, since the event is coming up next week, you can probably imagine how things are going crazy within our team right now. Everybody is super excited, but also everybody is super busy. And that's why I am even more happy that two of my favorite team members, who are mainly in charge for executing Pirate Life, took the time to join us today. This is my lovely colleague, Lisa. She is head of events at Pirate, and my other lovely colleague, Patrick, who is senior project manager. Good seeing your faces. How are you doing?
What's up, what's up, what's up?
Hi there.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Always, always. My pleasure.
So Laura, one warning from my end. Zoom already warned me twice that my connection doesn't seem to be stable.
Seriously?
I already switched to my iPhone, so it should work now, but
that's
just in case.
That's professionality when doing remote. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I put all my how do you say that, my trust in you. Okay.
So it should work.
So, but to prevent that, I hope this is not happening, but to prevent that, or to make sure that this deep dive runs through properly for all of you, I quickly want to hop through the setup where we're moving in today. And you probably all know it already. You have the buttons on the bottom where you can see this simple chat function, so you can simply interact with each other. If you have a question to Lisa, Patrick, or me, please use the separate Q&A function, because in there you also have the ability to upvote the questions, and then they pop to the top of the list, and we can put our focus on these ones. And of course, I always say it, you are more than welcome to join us in person, to turn on your video, to join us in this discussion. So you simply click the raise your hand button, and then we can pull you in. But if you do that, be aware that, and also in general, that the deep dive is recorded and also streamed. So just that you know that. And upfront, also big thanks to Cologne Business and Volksbank Köln for supporting us on this deep dive. But as I already said, today we specifically want to focus on Pirate Life and want to give you a glimpse of what is really important when looking at the setup, and especially, as I said, the last mile before the remote event actually takes place. But to get you all on the same page, I quickly want to recap how we got there. So most of you might know that we recently changed our business model. We became a full service agency for all touch points in the remote event industry. And compared to our original structure, where most of the events we initiated were initiated by ourselves, we now focus on supporting our customers on how to ideally handle remote event production. And always keeping this big picture in mind. But that was a challenging switch. And basically, when we restructured everything, and when we look at it right now, how we tackle it, we always split a new project into 3 parts, and that each of them go through. This is consulting phase, the concept phase, and then the actual execution of the event. And every single one starts with the consulting phase, where we assess the goals, the requirements, identify the challenges, and build this first framework of what is possible. Thank you, Lisa. for sharing your screen. Exactly, these 3 touch points. And since remote events, you know it, are still quite new for most of our clients. At the first touch point, it is really important to first create an understanding of what is really reasonable, right? To create an awareness about what the actual benefits of remote are and what you should not focus on. And yeah, when we move to the concept, everything becomes more detailed. You choose the right solutions for how to actually reach these defined goals, looking at the setup, the formats, the timeline. And this is actually, well, the parts I was just describing is where most of my part, or where my job, what my job considers. And the point that I was talking about right now is where Lisa and Patrick hop in. So you can hop in.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, then after that, our product team is creating the technical schedule and prepare the speakers and create all files and sheets that we need. So we go a little bit deeper in the details, and then we basically move along the timeline, with supporting with all the tasks until the actual production of the event. Yeah, so that's more or less the execution until the live production. Yeah, I just wanted to give you a little overview as well how we work at Pirate in total, like the product team itself. Yeah, when it comes to project management, we need to manage our resources as efficient as possible. So for this reason, we have a pretty simple and straightforward organization with the project management team. We have one project lead for each event, so which means that you have a single point of contact for every topic or question. And we have other project managers from our pool of experts, which can be always dragged into the project if needed. So yeah, we can handle with everything.
You just said now it's a really clear structure, but I remember that when it took us some time to get there, right? So when we made this turn to become a remote event agency, not only the general project structure was rethought, but also our team lineup. And I mean, you guys know it best, since especially the job description changed massively. So, which was, I think that was very challenging in the beginning, but now we're happy with it. Now we're clear.
Yes, that's true. We needed to learn a lot. Like every one of us needed to learn a lot with all the new things that came up and needed to be challenged. But actually, that's what we're here for. We're going to explain you what are our lessons learned and give you some insights of our work and experience that you can participate in our learnings. So that means I will give over to Patrick. No, actually not. I will explain the next slide as well.
I mean, I created the slide. I created the slide, but it's
yeah, I want to say Patrick and we're gonna show you how we work at Pirate. But yeah, next thing I'm gonna explain as well. Yeah, since we get deeper and deeper into the topic, we experience that the differences between the remote events are nothing to underestimate. So I would like to share some, like, our experiences with you. There are significant differences. So the smallest event, which you see on the left, is like only a call, for example, like Zoom or Skype with several people, like we are in here now. Then it goes to bigger options with multiple calls that get merged within a soft or hardware. Yeah, and then we end up with a hybrid event version where you even have a real live studio or real live stage, where even the audience is there and everything gets filmed and streamed. There is always differences between software and hardware streaming, but that's something that Patrick's gonna talk about now. But yeah, we are actually interested first if you were actually organizing a remote or hybrid event already, and which especially. So we created a poll for you before.
Have you already organized a remote event? So did you do it? Then say yes, just a small remote event, which is a call or a single stream. So the basic version, then yes, but a bigger event with multiple live streams. Yes, a hybrid event involving live audience, or no, still on my bucket list. So that will be really interesting on which stage or stage you are right now to see where we're at. So you vote and we'll see what we get. Okay, we're still voting. We're still waiting. I personally have to say, I think remote hybrid is so challenging. I just had, oh, now we had the results. Wait, there we go. So just a small one, Lisa, is the highest ranked, 38%. So it's good that we're sharing experience.
Yeah, exactly. I was actually expecting that a little bit. Because that's where you start first. You do something small and then you realize how big it can be when it goes to like huge amounts of people, huge amounts of calls that you need to combine. And I think when we go further with all the Corona situation, it will probably be possible to have a small real life version as well. So you need to implement both versions then. So hybrid events is probably the future as far as I see it so far. So yeah.
What I just wanted to say, a few days ago, I just had another call, let's call it that, get a first impression consulting call for a new hybrid event, which will be more like a trade fair. And in general, I think hybrid, as I just said, hybrid is the most challenging because it's so hard to find the right balance, since you don't want to offer digital just as a nice to have add-on, but to make it a great experience from both perspectives, physical and digital. And I think this is really hard to handle, but as you said, on the other side, probably the most valuable version for the future.
Yes, for sure.
I'm with you, Laura. I think hybrid is just for, yeah, you need some experience and some practice, and we made our way. It's looking at the results, it's too bad that we are going to focus at least on the software hardware part on the bigger events, but I would say we just quickly dive into the topic now that we have heard a little bit about content and project management. It's time for me to talk a little bit about the nerdy stuff.
Go.
Yeah, when it comes to live streaming, there are so many options to choose from. I don't want to go into all details, but what I wanted to share with the audience is the way we set up the live streams for our remote events, no matter if in-house productions like next week or client productions. When we produce our live streams, we differentiate between software and hardware production. So we just talked about the software production, which is probably the way most people have experienced or set up a remote event. It's a software solution, so it can be StreamYard, it can be OBS, it can be Restream, and you create the live stream in the software and send it out. The only thing which we need to mention is that you need a good computer. I'm an Apple fanboy, parts of the team as well, so I cheer for Apple. It's just
I don't know what it's called in English, what it's called in English, but it's a way of Schleichwerbung that you're doing here right now, you know that?
No, I was about to say that you can also use the Windows computer, but I'm not sure about the tech specs that are needed. But just make sure that, I think, yeah, you have a good and fast hard drive, and that it's just a good computer, because there's a lot of signals which need to be worked and processed. So we have done all the events with Apple and it's working well. So this is what I can share. And for the bigger events, talking about the hardware part, we have video encoders and video editors, which process different video signals coming in. And the encoder is actually putting layers on it and creating the live stream. I mean, the software, as we said, it's rather easy to set up. Everything is controllable by one person, and it's a complete remote solution. We can produce it right now, as every one of us is at home due to Corona, and bottom line is just cheaper. Hardware solution, definitely more complicated. Most of the people need to involve external service provider as you don't have all the material in your company. and you need at least 2 to 3 person controlling the workstation, which makes it, of course, more expensive, but also more reliable. So the bigger your productions are, the more professional you want to be, the more you tend to move to the right-hand side and using a hardware solution. Going down on the slide from software to hardware production, you just stream into Vimeo, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn is possible as well. We at PIRATex, we can recommend Vimeo. It's our go-to solution for live streaming, and it worked well at every event so far. And if you want to go one step further, you can embed your live stream, which is, it's already cool to have a live stream, but you can embed it in an event platform such as Talk, Grip, B2Match, basically all the platforms which you had in your deep dives already. And it just allows you to put the plain live stream, put it into a cool context and build content around it. So a nice agenda, networking areas, breakout rooms. It just gives you more possibilities to make your event more lively. But I think that's up to you concept guys, and I'm just a techie one. So
clicks, you know, we're always saying like you should create one environment where everything happens. So one platform where people don't have to click in and click out, because we experience that with every separate tab, with every separate click, you lose your viewers or your participants. And that's why this is really like a really relevant aspect for, especially when you're doing an interactive conference.
Yeah, that's right. So we always try to have everything in one platform, in one tab if possible, so you don't need to switch. Sometimes you need a workaround because the clients want something really special, but for the most part, we are able to to put it into one platform and keep the viewers in the tab.
Patrick,
I also wanted
coming in. I don't
Sorry?
want to. There is one question popping in.
Yes.
A very concrete one. What do you need to stream via Vimeo, and what does it cost?
So depends. If you take the software solution, you just need a software. Can be every software. We have been using StreamYard. We also did OBS. And of course, you need the Vimeo license. That's not so cheap. I can tell from the top of my head. We just bought another one yesterday and it was 800 euros, but that's for 1 year and 3 parallel live streams. I'm not sure if they have smaller packages. This is at least the package you need to do a Vimeo live stream, I think. But this is what you need. You just need the license to set up the live stream and you need the software. On the other hand, if you want a cheaper solution, it's possible with StreamYard or with Restream to directly stream into Vimeo or into Facebook, for example. So that's always a cheaper and easier solution. I hope that the question is covered.
I think you're good.
So as we have spoken about the difference and looking at the time, I wanted to talk about more about the hardware solution, going into detail just to illustrate what happens during the hardware production. We basically have 3 different video sources on the left-hand side. So it might be laptop, an iPad, for example, usually running Zoom calls. Once again, doesn't have to be Zoom, can be Skype, can be Teams, whatever you name it. It can be pre-recorded content. So I don't know, someone who already recorded his presentation. It can be a very cool 10 to 12 seconds jingle for the whole event. And those signals will just be edited live and on the fly and then sent over to the encoder, and the encoder will add the stream frames and send the signal to Vimeo. So that's the whole magic behind it. Well, the manpower used, as I already said, it's definitely one director who calls the shots, and it's one video editor. And then it depends on the content. Usually you have one person to operate each notebook, because in conferences, you have 2 Zoom calls running parallel. You have person A speaking while you prepare person B on the next laptop, so that you can have a switch after the person finishes his talk. And that's why you have at least 5 people for this setup. Could be more, could be less, depends on the situation. And yeah, this setup is just very straightforward. And I shared this setup with the concept team, so Laura and her colleagues. And the learning for me is that I no longer will share simplified illustrations in the team, because Laura and the team, they are just selling to the client, taking this slide and telling them that everything is possible. And it's very easy, and we can definitely do it. And at the end, it's way more complicated.
Well, I sell this because I know that you can make everything possible.
Okay.
Like, somehow.
Yeah.
But you're right. Very often it seems easily done, but is totally underestimated in how much effort and how much manpower is needed to actually implement it. And that's why I'm very happy that you created the next slide, because that helps me also to visualize when I do the calls how the different scopes are. But I want to throw in one more question, which is very specific from Tobias. Have you ever streamed to China? I probably will in November, and I'm wondering which channels will allow me censorship-free streaming, although the stream will be for a German institution and will involve German-Chinese trading contents. Any intel on that? It is a really tough one, Tobias, because we are also struggling with that, or we are thinking about this a lot, because most of the time, most of the software are not allowed in China. And if they are, you very often have some security problems with the DSGVO in Germany. So
it is restricted, but it is possible. But you need workarounds. So what we did in the past, I mean, if Tobias, we have broader audience, so I'm not going into that detail. He can easily contact me via LinkedIn or whatever afterwards, so we can discuss it in greater detail. It is possible, but you need to check with the client in China what they are using, which systems they are running, and what is blocked. But we did it for one event and it worked well, but it's a little bit stressful.
Yeah, Event Extra is the name of the one. That is one that is working, or that is supported by both sites more or less. But Tobias, just give us a call. Easiest one.
Yeah.
Actually, in my experience is that the people in China, they know already about this problem. So they sometimes find an option by themselves to switch the, like VPN, for example, VPN, to change the internet connection to be able to take part in calls.
Yeah, that's how we did it in the past as well. Okay, question covered. Question
covered. You go.
Then we continue with this beautiful slide. I mean, I created it because I was forced to, as I said. So our sales department is selling and discussing, or our concept department is creating concepts based on the slide showed before. So this is a way more detailed illustration showing the setup if you want to include a live moderator. And it would require a lot of time to explain all the errors flying around. So I just mentioned some of the important aspects. The challenge in this particular slide is if you want to include a live moderator and you want the moderator to be able to talk with the Zoom call participants, you need to split the audio and the video signal. So that means at least you have a video editing workstation, you have an audio workstation, and then you have one workstation taking the 2 signals, merging them, and sending them into the live stream. So manpower wise, you have again 1 to 3 persons operating the notebooks. You have one director calling the shots. You have one video editor. You have one audio editor. And in this setup, you definitely need one person operating as technical support. So it can always happen, I don't know, microphone breaks down, camera changes position, somebody touched the camera, zoomed in, I don't know, whatever it is, but it's also experience from our events that those people controlling the workstation, they stay where they are. They don't leave the room. It's not their duty. You need one person who can run around and quickly be available and fix something, because otherwise it will be a mess if the people leaves the position and then something else is happening in the live stream. So yeah, you just need one person which is available. And also very important for the setup, if you prepare events or you think about doing the hardware solution and have more signals, and you think about including Zoom calls, probably also adding calls based on Teams, just gather your people, discuss it in great detail, and really go through the process and what you want to do. So really think about, okay, and then I want to have person B on Zoom. He should be able to talk with the moderator. What does this mean technically? So moderator needs to hear him, the other way around. The video signal needs to go back to Zoom because there is no webcam in the studio. They're just professional cameras. So is there a solution for this problem? Just challenge yourself, challenge your colleagues, and just assess what's possible and what's not. And we can always recommend dry runs, no matter if the setup is already in place. Just do a dry run, which means get the people, the amount of people you have at your event. I mean, if you have 20 speakers, you don't need 20 speakers, but take one speaker, a moderator, and just run through the program. If you have a person in the Zoom call, open the Zoom call, put someone or choose someone who is at home, he can attend the Zoom call, and just testing.
They always use us. Then somebody becomes the speaker, somebody becomes the moderator, then you can go through the general framework.
Yeah. We don't need it anymore, or not so often. In the beginning, we did it, I don't know, we did it 3 or 4 times prior to an event, but now at least for the setups, the bigger setups which we used, I think we are quite confident in using everything and producing. So we are good for now. We will see what the future brings.
Bigger ones.
Yep.
Talking about 19 parallel live streams, right?
Yep, for example.
Yeah, always when there's a new component coming in, there's another dry run again. So it's bad when you did it the first time and it's live already.
Yeah. So that's it from the technical standpoint.
Yeah, cool. Then after all these technical details, I can come up with some little bit easier, I would say. I'd like to show you a timeline overview with just the most important steps really. So there are a lot more, but I just wanted to share the most important ones with you. When we start with a remote event with the planning, we first do a project plan as soon as the project starts, as soon as we know that it's happening, taking place. So that can be like 4 or 2 months or even like 6 weeks before the production date, depends how complicated, how complex the event is itself. Then we start with the technical schedule. We mostly need to explain our partners a lot how the differences are, especially for people who never had a remote event, that they understand that how much difference it is to a normal event. Then we need to keep in mind that they need to keep this in mind when they set up the agenda as well. That we maybe need breaks, for example, to do technical checks with the speakers and stuff, that this is all known beforehand. Then like 2 weeks prior to the event, we are collecting all the medias like frames, pre-recorded content, as Patrick said already, or slides that we need to show during the live stream, like break slide or technical problem slide, which we hopefully never use. yeah, right before the event, like 1 to 2 weeks before, we do a speakers onboarding, like online seminars, where we explain all speakers and moderators how the whole event is gonna take place, what they need to know, that they are a couple of minutes before their speech in the live stream, that we can make like a small technical check. Yeah, that everyone is prepared and not surprised when it comes to the point that people are live. So we want to prepare them as best as possible. Yeah, and then yeah, there are just some last steps, and then it comes to the live production already.
Live production, and you already now you got some general insights, and we try, as I said, we tried to put all this theory into place at Pirate Life, where we combined all these learnings. And the first thing, well, I just want to say that the first thing we did was to get rid of the 2-day thinking and stretched it to 1 week full of content, where you decide what you get and how much you actually involve. And basically within this 1 week, the 3 different setups that Patrick and Lisa were Patrick was explaining, they are covered within this week. So overall at Pirate Life, we have Pirate Life itself with the content, which is all set up in a fully remote version. But next to that, we also set up Pirate Lounge, which is basically a physical studio where the moderation takes place, and also some fun team actions to overcome this, the virtual social distancing, and to make the product team actually a little bit more accessible. And next to that, we are producing the out-of-the-box NWR award ceremony physically, which is actually awesome because it's like 3 different ways of setting up remote event, hybrid, digital, everything's in there. And this is an amazing combination. And I think also from production side, quite fun.
Oh yes, actually, yes, especially because we are using a software solution, StreamYard, and 2 hardware solutions. So even this needs to be combined this time, and a real stage with audience. So we have kind of, it cannot be more diverse. So that's quite challenging for us. But the main thing is they all end up in a Vimeo stream on our platform Talk. So even these 3 different formats, they have the appearance of 1 event for our attendees. And this is the biggest challenge.
You just answered one question. There was a question popping in, which platform we use for Pirate Life. And yeah, we're using Talk, which is exactly as I described before, puts everything in one digital environment. And we are working quite a lot with them, since we already worked with them before. This entirely remote switch, and it's quite stable, and we made some good experiences with it. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, everything good. I actually forgot as well to put the right slide. So now the slide that we were just talking about. Yeah, and I actually really recommend using a platform in the end, because when it comes to multiple streams, and when you have an agenda where you need to get the people on deciding where they want to take place, you need to have an overview solution for the attendees. Otherwise, you have just like several streams. So yeah.
And that's the super relevant aspect, because if you have this one platform where everything comes together, then you make it easier for the people to get themselves around, to see what's going on, when, who is where, how can I interact. All the formats are within this one platform. Doesn't matter if it's the main stage live stream, or an interactive discussion table, or something. And if you brief in that one right, if people know how the platform is handled, then they are able to get the most out of this this setup, out of this virtual experience. And in the end, the way they interact and the way they move around on the platform is what makes your event successful.
Exactly. And even when it's maybe complicated and complex behind the scenes, for the customer or for the attendee, it needs to look as easy as possible. So that's a thing that you can easily achieve with a platform where you have a perfect interface, and yeah, no one sees any struggle behind. Yeah, I wanted to share with you as well and give you some inside views about our tasks that are actually still coming up, or that were coming up this last days before Pirate Live. So what's coming up right before a remote event. So actually we are actually still on finalizing the technical schedule in detail. There's still sometimes stuff like changing. For example, speakers cannot attend, or we change the times. Yeah, and then we are still organizing our stuff in the helping hands, clarify who we need where, and inform everyone and brief everyone what to do. We are done actually with all the online seminars for speakers, but we are still doing the technical checks at the moment. So there are still people who said, hey, I have a new idea what I want to do. Can I show you? Or can we like make a test if it works technically? Yeah, then we do create and send out all the call links in the last info mail. This will happen during the event as well for every day. Yeah, their own last info mail for the speakers on this special day. So this is kind of an ongoing task. And yeah, then we do the technical setup of the director's room, which will be done tomorrow. And then we can keep on doing our dry runs with the real technical setup then. And then the last thing is, when everything is done, we print out the technical setup for everyone. We prepare every seat for every person who's taking part in the director's room and taking part in the streaming. And yeah, then it just means like we are live now.
It's going crazy. No, but as we were just talking about the briefing, and you just said it, clarify and inform stuff and helping hands. This is also so important, because if you work on parallel projects, I mean, we just had our final walk through the entire schedule with the entire team this morning, because when everybody is working on different things, and then when the day X comes up, then even though time is running, take your time and really brief the entire team in, so everybody's on the same page and everybody is ready to perform. And as I just said, we had that this morning, so we are ready. And however, we still always know that we always still think about scenarios that can happen, things that can go wrong. For example, I don't know, the internet connection breaks down, or we were thinking about, okay, we cannot manage the quality that the participants actually push into the event. Right, so this is something that you cannot handle, or that you cannot control, but still have to handle at some point. And we were saying this already, each event is different, and so are the problems that pop up. So every time it's different things, but of course you learn from every fuck up. And Patrick, I don't know where Patrick went. Where's his video?
I'm still here. I just turned off my camera for the sake of the internet connection. I hope it's working, but I got the message twice.
We hear you.
So far it was good.
So do you guys have something in mind that when you think back that is a mistake that got stuck in your head, so it will hopefully never happen again?
Actually, some just came to my mind when you were talking about it, but then I will add it in the end, another one. Actually, this was actually one of our bigger events when this thing happened. So it was kind of a chain of fuck-ups that happened, I need to say. The stream just stopped, and we still don't know what was actually the problem. So we tried to change the streaming to our backup link, but even this didn't help. So we created a whole new streaming link. And I think it took us half an hour until the streaming was perfectly set up and live again.
So there was a backup solution, but even the backup solution didn't work. So you could really call it a fuck up in general, but it was not really one, because we were lucky. Because I remember we were when the stream broke down, we were still recording the whole thing. So people were not able to see it, but it was still, from the other perspective, from the director's perspective, it was still recorded. So at least it wasn't too bad in the end, because we were still able to provide the content on demand afterwards, right?
Yeah, there was
but it was actually, it was a major fuck up, because you have a client paying for the service.
Sure.
And you have 1,000 people on the platform looking at the live stream. So
it's bad in that second.
I don't know, it was beyond our
out of the mistake, you know.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You phrased it in a nice way, but still we were sweating because we didn't notice at this time. We were streaming and somehow, I don't know,
Patrick,
stream was gone.
anyone thinking about it, I can basically
Yeah.
see.
And I got the client call asking.
We can't see anything.
Yeah, we can't see anything. So yep. And I think the last one was mentioned by me because we noticed afterwards. So live stream was interrupted. We noticed, we received the call. So we set up a new live stream, which was already bad. We still had the backup recording. It's nice. But then if you generate a new live stream, you generate a new streaming key. And the streaming key is always connected to the embedded code. And if you have a new streaming key and your live stream is up and running, but you don't change the embed code in the event platform, we were relaxing because we were online again, but people were just seeing a black screen, or even worse, they were seeing the recording, which has automatically generated in the background. And yeah, we looked at it and we thought that we are streaming live, but it was actually old content. And we received another call that we are still not online. So always check the keys. And yeah, from a project management perspective, it's just a clear plan with different steps. If something like this happens, 4 eyes principle, check the keys, and check the embedded links so that everything is up and running, client is satisfied, and then yeah, you're good. Won't happen again.
Right. See, that's the most important one. Lisa, you had some other one in mind?
Yeah, exactly. When you were talking about that, you cannot have any impact on the stuff that your participants are sharing, for example, or your speakers. Same event as well. Unfortunately, we had a call with Japan, with 3 people from Japan who were not able to arrange their technical setup. So the microphones were not working. They just switched on and off when they wanted. So when the person was supposed to speak, you couldn't hear anything. Sometimes you heard a person that was not supposed to speak. And then we had one sick person in the call who was always, she didn't feel good and she was just pretending to be happy. So we needed to take them out a couple of times out of the live stream. We put a break slide on in the live stream and talk to them like, hey, are you okay? Your microphone is off. Okay, sorry, I wanted to speak, I didn't know. And then, are you ready again? Okay, we put you live again. And I think we did this 4 or 5 times, doing a 20 minutes talk from them. And I think they were so nervous. It was so new for them, and it was also short term from their from their perspective as well, from their preparation. Yeah, that was complicated in the end, but I think we did the best we could.
Kind of funny as well, at least from our end.
Yeah, we were really trying to do our best, but as you said, you cannot change what people are presenting or what they're doing, how they deal with their technical setup at home. It's no option.
Yeah, and some factors are always uncontrollable, as we said. But to wrap it up, actually, to prevent most of these uncontrollable factors, I use Patrick's word. He said, if you prepare an event, take your time. So super important, take your time, think it through, think the whole process through, get the people who are in charge, discuss it, challenge it, and really go through it to see what is possible and what actually doesn't make sense. Makes it much more complicated or pulls in some unneeded bugs or something. So try to avoid that. Think through the scenarios that can happen. Try to find a backup solution. Sometimes even the backup solution doesn't work. We just heard that. But anyways, if you're prepared, and that's the most important thing. And to avoid unneeded mistakes, test, do the dry runs, grab your team, assign the positions, and then just go through the entire event once or even twice. And if some things happen that you cannot change, stay cool, don't sweat, or at least not officially. And as we just heard with the live stream, sometimes it was a massive fuck up, but sometimes it seems more more
You
dramatic
always
than
learn.
it actually is. So we leave it like that, I'd say. And I hope you guys got a first impression about what we're doing right now, about what is coming up next week, or what we're working on right now. And you probably felt that we are super excited about Pirate Life, about next week. And if you didn't sign up yet, simply check out our website. It's free of charge, so you can easily join and sign up. Seriously, you shouldn't miss it. It's a week full of digital, hybrid, technical highlights, but also amazing content highlights and entertaining highlights. So join us next week whenever it's you two, super snackable, and will be lovely to see you there or to see you in the next session. Take
And
care.
actually, if you,
Lisa, for sharing.
yeah, I
All
just
right.
want to, if you guys have
Next
any questions,
Wednesday.
or you want to go closer into detail or something, you can always just reach out to us or write an email. We can.
Exactly. We also have a slide with our contact details on it. So Tobias, as you just said, with your China questions, give us a call. Always happy to answer your question. And yeah, we're always there in case you need some more specific details. Okay, that's Laura, Patrick, and Lisa. And write down our cell phone numbers, really important. And yeah, take care. Have a lovely evening. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.